book lovers, it's Jenny at Julia Baby Jen, and today I'm going to be talking about Ever the Hunted by Erin Summerill. Alright, today I'm going to be talking about this book. Sorry about the light reflecting off of it. It's a library book, and so it just keeps reflecting. This is Ever the Hunted by Erin Summerill. This is the first book in a series. A Clash of Kingdoms is the name of the series. This is YA fantasy, and this was so much fun. I really enjoyed this. I gave this a solid 4 stars. Really fun read. Nice quick read. Really easy to get into. I just really enjoyed the story. So I'm going to try to do a quick synopsis of this book. I'm terrible at doing these quickly, so this is a fantasy novel. The main character in this is Brit. Her land has been divided, well, the land of this novel has been divided into 2 parts. You have the Milan Kingdom and the Sheridan Kingdom. They've always been separate from each other, but you could travel to and from without a problem. Something happened a while ago. The king was killed and rumors about it, and the Sheridans were kind of to blame for it. So a new king took over, which was his 2-year-old son. Now it's years later, and the king is actually like a young adult, and he's actually king. They've sealed the borders between Sheridan and Milan. It's now considered really bad to be from Sheridan, and a lot of people from Sheridan have magic, and that's illegal in Milan as well. Brit, her father worked for the king as an assassin. He's an amazing hunter, an amazing tracker, and he taught everything he knew to her. Her mother's from Sheridan. She died when she was very young. They never cemented the marriage between her parents in Milan, and if you don't do that, it's not considered sacred. So she is considered like not really a full citizen of Milan, but she is not really. She's kind of shunned a little bit, but she isn't like. Nothing's done to her. She's not put in prison or anything because of her father. Well, now her father has died. It's been 2 months later, and her cottage is being seized because she has no rights. She can't inherit his property. She's basically homeless. She's trying to live off the land as a hunter, but that is actually illegal. It's considered poaching off of Milan land. So she is caught, but she is granted a deal where if she tries to find her father's killer, track him, she will be granted freedom and she can have the cottage. She finds out that the prime suspect, and they have solid evidence of this, is Cohen, who is actually was an apprentice of her father's, a boy, and they trained together, and she actually fell in love with him, but he left a while ago for another job and hasn't returned. So she's, of course, really, really upset about this and says, yes, I will do so. And then the novel goes from there, and it's just an amazing ride, an amazing story. It's really awesome. So everything I told you happens really early in the book. There's tons of twists and turns that happen after that. I don't want to tell you all that happens because that really gives a lot the fun away of the novel. So the main characters we have in here is we have Britta. It's all told from her point of view. I really liked Britta. I thought she was a really great character. She's smart, she's strong, she knows what she's doing. But this entire story is really her journey to learn more about her parents, more about this war between the kingdoms and where her place is in all of this. And there's a lot of revelations that come to light. So it's kind of a cool story arc for her. I thought she was a little emotional at times, like what most YA heroines are. I got a little overdone at times, but for the most part, I really liked her as a character. I did think she was very intelligent, and I think that she did a really great job of rolling with the punches in that. Then we have Cohen, who is her crush, and the boy who's accused. He does show up pretty early in this book and it becomes one of the main characters in this as well. I really liked Cohen for the most part, although I thought his character development wasn't the greatest. We did get some of his character development towards the end, but I feel like we were really left in the dark with him, and you just had to kind of guess. But considering this was from Brit's point of view, that made sense. She was kind of guessing on a lot of things, and she was kind of a little too trusting, I think, sometimes at times too. I thought her story arc was great. I thought her character development was awesome. Then we have Captain Omar, who is the guard who is with her. He's in charge of their little group when they go out to start tracking for Cohen. Oh, another thing I forgot to mention about Britt, she actually can tell when someone's lying or telling the truth. She can feel it in her body. And so she uses that to guide her a lot. And so when Captain Omar tells her of this evidence and everything, that Cohen definitely did it, it comes across as true, so she totally believes it. And that's one of the main reasons why she believes that Cohen could have done this. He is a very no-nonsense man. He's kind of cruel, but he's also pretty fair. He treats her as less than nothing. In fact, everybody in this novel most of the time treats her as more than nothing, and that got a little old. The prejudice against Sheridan really comes across in this, that was interesting. Another thing that's really interesting is she is very fair and has blonde hair. Most people from Sheridan are, and a lot of people from Milan are kind of more of a darker complexion, darker hair. So that was kind of interesting too. Then we have Leif and Tomas, who are the guards who are also traveling with them. Leif is this big brute of a guy, and he ends up kind of becoming a little bit of her ally and friend. Tomas is an evil, sadistic kind of guy, and she tries to stay away from him as much as possible. He just wants to cause misery wherever he goes. And then, of course, we have the king, who isn't a big part in this, but he's talked about quite a bit as we learn more about the kingdoms. There's a lot of side characters that we meet along the journey as well. I think this had a great setup. I mean, we move right into things very quickly. You get a lot of information quickly, but it doesn't feel like info dumping. A lot of the information comes slowly. So I think it had a great setup and a great pace. The plot moved very fast. There was lots of action and a ton of twists. You never knew quite what was going to happen next. I mean, you'd be reading one thing and then the next sentence is a completely different thing, but it all did make sense. And I really did like the pacing and the basic plot points in this. This was a lot darker than I expected. It is a pretty dark fantasy. I had pretty good world building in it. I feel like we didn't get I felt like the world felt real. You got enough detail to imagine it and understand it enough, but you didn't get so much that you felt bombarded. There wasn't any info dumping. Everything that you learned came at you in a timely way. You kept learning stuff all the way through the book, so I thought that was really great. And then the ending was a really good, solid ending, tight ending. It really tied up the story, but there was still room for sequels, for more to the story, so I really appreciated that as well. So overall, I really enjoyed this book. I can't wait for the rest of the series to come out because I will be continuing with this series. I thought it was a really fun read. Good fantasy, good YA fantasy. It wasn't a real light fantasy. It was a little darker, but it wasn't like heavy epic high fantasy where it's so much, it's hard to keep track of everything. It was easy to keep track of what was going on in here. So someone who isn't a huge fantasy lover but likes it all right would, I think, still really enjoy this book. I think that if you like a book with lots of good twists and decent characters and decent world building and great action, this book would be a good book for you. Yeah, I really don't know what to compare this book to. Nothing really stuck in my head while I was reading it. It felt, even though there's a lot of tropes and things that you come across in YA, it felt a pretty original tale. So it kind of, I guess it had that dark factor, like maybe a fairy tale. It kind of made me think of that a little bit. The war between kingdoms is pretty normal in a fantasy, so there's a lot of tropes that you come across in fantasy, or especially YA fantasy, but it didn't feel like really tired or cliched. It just didn't really remind me of any certain book. Nothing stuck in my head with it, so go ahead, and I'm not going to worry about spoilers in this one. I don't really think I need to talk about anything else. That pretty much sums up the book without going into spoilers, so I think we're good there. Leave me any comments below if you've read the book, or if you have any good YA fantasy suggestions for me. And I hope everyone has a good day. I will talk to you later. Bye.